Or so I thought. We've always been that couple who let each other breathe. No curfews, no daily check-ins, no tracking apps. We trusted each other. Or I trusted her, at least. That part stings now. About a month ago, she told me she needed a girls' weekend. Me time, she called it. Just me, the girls, wine, and trashy beach reads. Fair enough. Everyone needs a reset button sometimes. She picked a spot about 4 hours away on the coast, said it was her and her two best friends from college. They've always been wild when they get together, lot of wine, questionable karaoke, that kind of thing, but nothing ever crossed a line before. Or so I assumed. I didn't push. Helped her pack, kissed her goodbye, and even joked, "Don't get arrested." She laughed. "I'll behave," she said. "Don't worry, babe." Her exact words. But something didn't sit right this time. I chalked it up to work stress or maybe just me being overprotective. But yeah, hindsight's got 20/20 vision and a flashlight, doesn't it? So she gets back from her girls' weekend late Sunday night. Smelling like hotel shampoo and cheap rose. Nothing unusual there. But something about her energy felt off. She was chatty, but in a performing normal kind of way. Like she'd rehearsed how this night was supposed to go. I let it go. Told myself not to be paranoid. But then Duke, our dog, wouldn't go near her for the first 24 hours she was home. That dog loves her, he'd sell my soul for a scrap of her scrambled eggs. But now he was sleeping at my feet like a fuzzy little lie detector. Tuesday night, we're watching a show and her phone lights up. Group text with her girls. I glance, not snooping, just glanced, and I see a message pop up from her friend Gina. "OMG, still can't believe you let that guy leave those scratches, flushed face savage LMAO." She catches me glancing and flips the phone over real quick. "Just stupid stuff," she says, smiling too wide. "You don't want to read this nonsense." Now, I've been around long enough to know that when someone volunteers a reason you shouldn't ask questions, it's time to ask questions. So when she went to shower, I did something I'd never done before. I looked through her phone. And there it was. A message from her other friend, Nikki, that read. "Still thinking about Mr. Tattoo Guy? LOL. He definitely knew what he was doing. How's the rug burn?" I felt like I'd been kicked in the chest. I stared at that screen like maybe I was misunderstanding. Maybe they were joking. Maybe she just danced too hard. But then I scrolled up. Saw her response from earlier that day. I know. My thighs are still sore. I didn't even think I'd go through with it, but one drink led to another, and damn. I needed that. Needed that. So I'm sitting there on the edge of the bed, her phone in my hand, heart beating like I just ran a marathon through a war zone. She walks out of the shower in one of those oversized t-shirts that always used to make me weak in the knees. Now. Not so much. I look up at her. "Who's Mr. Tattoo Guy?" She freezes. You ever seen someone's soul try to hit the emergency exit? That was her face. "What are you talking about?" she asks, real calm, but her voice is tight. Too tight. I hold up the phone. "You want to tell me what happened last weekend, or should I let Nikki and Gina narrate?" She snatches the phone from my hand like it burned her. "I can't believe you went through my messages. I can't believe you cheated on me and then left a damn Yelp review about it to your friends," I shoot back. She opens her mouth, closes it, then finally spits it out. "It wasn't like that. It was just a stupid mistake. I was drunk. It didn't mean anything." I laugh. Actually laugh. "Oh, good. So it's okay to screw someone as long as you're buzzed and it's meaningless. Got it." Then she starts with the excuses. "You've been distant. Work has you stressed. We haven't been connecting. I just needed to feel wanted for once. It just happened. I told her, look, if you were feeling neglected, you talk to me. You don't go get wanted by a tattooed stranger while your husband's at home planning your birthday dinner. She starts crying, real tears, or at least real enough. It was a mistake, and I was going to take it to my grave. I didn't want to hurt you. Too late for that, I said. Your grave secret has rug burn and thigh soreness. After the blow-up, she locked herself in the guest room. I sat in our bedroom, staring at a blank TV screen, trying to feel something. Anger, sadness, disbelief, they were all elbowing each other for front row seats in my head. But mostly, I felt numb. It's weird. You think if this ever happens to you, you'll scream or break something. Maybe punch a hole in the drywall like a low-budget action hero. But me? I just sat there. Staring. Breathing. Trying to wrap my head around how someone could love you in the morning and lie to your face by dinner. The next day, she acted like the conversation we had never happened. Made coffee. Asked me if I wanted eggs. I looked at her like she'd lost her damn mind. You seriously think we're doing breakfast after you blew up our marriage like it's an old shed on YouTube? She sighed. Like I was being difficult. I don't know what you want me to do, she said. I said I was sorry. Let me tell you something, there's nothing more infuriating than someone thinking, sorry, is the magic eraser for betrayal. Like you can just wipe off the lipstick and guilt with one deep sigh and a few tears. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just walked out and took Duke for a 2-hour walk while I tried to figure out if I was angry enough to leave or still stupid enough to stay. And the thing is, part of me still wanted to fix things. That's the kicker. You spend over a decade building something with someone, you don't want to watch it collapse. Even when they're the one who lit the fuse. That walk with Duke turned out to be more than just a breather, it was a damn clarity session. Every mile I put under my feet, something inside me shifted. I started off thinking, how did we get here? By mile 3, it was more like, why the hell am I the one feeling guilty for snooping when she's the one who got railed by a stranger with a sleeve tattoo and a tequila grin? By the time we got back home, Duke was worn out, and so was my patience. I walked in and found her sitting at the kitchen table, laptop open, acting like she was trying to be productive. She looked up and said, I think we should go to couples counseling. I almost laughed. Now she wants to talk about communication and emotional health. After she communicated with Mr. Tattoo Guy's pelvis. I think you should have gone to a counselor before you decided to play naked twister with some stranger, I said flatly. I made a mistake, she repeated, like it was a damn mantra. It didn't mean anything. Yeah, well, it meant something to me. She paused. So what now? I didn't answer right away. I just went into the bedroom, grabbed a bag, and tossed a few clothes in. Not out of some dramatic storm-out moment, but because I needed space. Actual, physical space to think. To feel. You leaving? She asked, voice small. No, I said. I'm taking a break. There's a difference. I need a few nights without lying next to someone who can lie to my face. That hit her. She didn't say anything else. I booked a room at a cheap but decent hotel, just me and Duke. Spent that night sipping cheap whiskey and watching reruns of Pawn Stars, because nothing says soul-searching like dudes haggling over samurai swords. The hotel room was quiet, too quiet. No hum of her electric toothbrush, no sound of her humming off-key while brushing her hair, none of that everyday background noise that usually feels like nothing until it's gone. Duke, for his part, seemed to sense something was off. He kept looking at the door like he expected her to walk in any second. Loyal little bastard. That first night alone was weirdly peaceful. Sad, yeah, but also, lighter. Like I didn't have to pretend anymore. No awkward silences, no fake goodnights, no side glances wondering if she was texting someone under the covers. The next morning, I got a long-ass text from her. One of those walls of text that starts with, "I know you don't want to hear from me right now," and ends with, "I just want to fix this." She went full soap opera, talked about her childhood abandonment issues, her fear of aging, how being desired by someone new made her feel alive. I rolled my eyes so hard I saw the inside of my skull. She didn't confess to any more details, just kept it vague. "It was a mistake, it happened once, I didn't mean to hurt you." Same chorus, different verse. I didn't respond right away. Took a walk, got a burger, cleared my head. Then I texted back one line. "You didn't just make a mistake, you made a choice." Because that's what it was. A mistake is spilling coffee on your shirt. What she did, that was calculated. She chose to go back to that guy's place. She chose to sleep with him. And she sure as hell chose to lie about it afterward. Later that evening, she called. Voice trembling, borderline hysterical. "I love you," she said. "I can't lose you over this." "You should have thought of that when you were losing your panties in a stranger's Airbnb," I said. There was silence. Then she whispered, "You're really not coming home, are you?" "No," I said. "Not yet. Maybe not at all." You'd think the worst part is the discovery. That moment when you read the text or hear the confession and your stomach drops like an elevator cable just snapped. But let me tell you, the worst part is the day after. Because that's when the weight really settles in. That's when your brain stops spinning and starts calculating. All the moments you thought were real. All the inside jokes. All the "I love you"s that apparently had expiration dates. The next few days were brutal. I went to work, smiled when I had to, made small talk about weekend plans with people who had no idea I was mentally living in the wreckage of my marriage. My parents called, asking when she and I were coming to visit. I told them I wasn't sure anymore. My mom paused. "You two have a fight?" "Something like that," I said. Didn't have the heart to drop the bomb yet. Meanwhile, she kept texting. Not love notes, strategies. Links to marriage retreats, therapists in our area, TED Talks about repairing intimacy. Like this was a group project and she suddenly wanted to pull her weight now that we were failing the class. She even sent a selfie of her holding Duke's toy, saying, "He misses you." I ignored it. Then came the bombshell I didn't expect. Friday morning, my buddy Kyle calls me, says he ran into Nikki, one of her girls' weekend sidekicks. Apparently Nikki was hammered and loose-lipped at a bar and spilled the real story. "Dude," Kyle says, "that wasn't just a one-time slip-up. She spent the whole weekend with that guy. They hooked up at least twice. And she told her friends you'd never find out because you're too nice to ask." That hit me harder than the first text. Not because of the sex, at that point, whatever. It was the casual cruelty. The way she apparently trusted I'd be too passive, too trusting, too damn decent to ever question her. She mistook my respect for weakness. After Kyle dropped that bomb on me, I sat in the hotel parking lot for a solid hour just staring at the dash. My hands were clenched so tight around the steering wheel, my knuckles looked like chalk. She hadn't just betrayed me, she gambled on my decency. Thought I was too nice to call her bluff. I'd always seen that as a strength. Turns out, she saw it as a weakness to exploit. So I called her. She picked up on the second ring, voice soft, fake hopeful. "Hey. I just talked to Kyle," I said. "He heard from Nikki. You want to try this conversation again with the truth this time?" Silence. Then she exhaled like a tire losing air. "Okay," she said. "It wasn't just one time." "How many times?" I asked. 3. "And the whole time I was here being the reliable husband, you were playing eat, pray, bang with tattoo macabs?" "It wasn't planned." "Stop," I said. "I don't need the screenplay version. I just need honesty. Raw, uncomfortable, no bullshit honesty. For once. So she gave it to me. Not all at once. But over the next 40 minutes, she admitted more than I expected. She'd met the guy on the first night, told her friends, it's just flirting, and by the second night they were sneaking out together. It wasn't just drunken lust, it was calculated. She let it happen. Chose it. Repeated it. It made me feel powerful, she said. That one stung. Not because she felt powerful. But because I realized how powerless she must have felt in our marriage and never said a damn word about it. You realize how humiliating this is for me? I asked. Your friends know. My friends are starting to find out. I'm the last clown to find out the circus has left town. I never meant for it to go this far, she said, voice cracking. But it did, I said. And I'm done cleaning up messes I didn't make. That night, I called a divorce lawyer. Just to ask questions. No decisions yet. But for the first time since this all started, I felt like I had my spine back. After that call to the lawyer, something in me shifted. It wasn't vengeance. Wasn't rage. It was just clarity. Cold, sharp, and undeniable. Like walking outside after a blizzard and realizing the world still exists under all that white silence. I spent the next couple days doing something I hadn't done in a long time, looking at myself. Not in some self-loathing, what did I do wrong, kind of way. But really looking. Asking hard questions. Had I been distant? Maybe. Comfortable? Definitely. I'd built a life that was safe, routine, steady. I thought that was the goal. Turns out, she wanted a little chaos with her commitment. But here's the thing, I never stopped loving her. I just loved her in the way a guy loves something he assumes won't break. Turns out, everything has a breaking point. Even trust. Even a man who thought he'd seen it all. I started writing again, just for me. Journaling, jotting down thoughts, hell, even writing bad poetry about betrayal and microwave dinners for one. It helped. More than I thought it would. And then one morning, I looked in the mirror and didn't see a victim. I didn't see a sucker or a cuck or whatever internet tough guys like to throw around. I saw a man who survived something ugly and didn't let it define him. A man who still had options. Still had worth. Still had a future. And honestly, that scared the hell out of her. When I came by the house to grab a few more things, she looked at me like I'd grown 3 inches taller overnight. You seem different, she said. I am, I said. Turns out rock bottom has a solid foundation. She didn't laugh. I did. And for once, the laugh felt real. A few days after my visit to the house, she showed up unannounced at the hotel. Duke barked like he was auditioning for Cujo, and honestly, I didn't blame him. She was holding takeout, my favorite, from that little Thai place we used to order from when we were broke and happy. She looked nervous, hair tied back like she wanted to seem casual, but her eyes were working overtime, scanning me like a bomb tech trying to guess which wire to cut. I brought food, she said, as if pad thai was going to reverse infidelity. I opened the door but didn't invite her in. Let her stand there in that awkward space between past and present. I know you're hurting, she started, and I know I don't deserve anything right now, but I wanted to say something face to face. Go ahead, I said, arms crossed. No emotion, just open ears. She went into a whole thing. How she realized she had self-sabotaged something good. How no one had ever truly shown her the kind of loyalty I had. How she hated herself for what she did, and now every moment apart from me felt like a punishment she earned. Then she hit me with it. I want to start over. New vows. Therapy. Whatever it takes. I'll do anything. Just, don't give up on us. That used to be my dream sentence. The part in the movie where the music swells and the husband forgives and everything works out. But here's the thing, when someone breaks the damn plate, gluing it back together doesn't make it dinner ready again. It just makes it decorative. Fragile. A reminder of what it used to be. I looked her in the eye and said, "You're not sorry you cheated. You're sorry I found out. You're sorry it cost you comfort. But I can't spend the next 10 years flinching every time your phone lights up." Her face dropped. "So that's it?" "No," I said. "That's the start." After that conversation in the doorway, I didn't feel vindicated. No righteous glow. No fist pump moment. Just a deep, settled calm. The kind that only shows up when you finally accept the truth and stop trying to dress it in hope. She texted a few more times that week. Little things. "I miss you. Remember when we, nostalgia bombs, aimed to soften me up?" I didn't respond. Not out of spite, but because I had nothing left to give her. The well was dry, and I wasn't interested in digging a new one on poison ground. I met with the divorce lawyer again, this time to sign papers. The process was surprisingly procedural. Cold. Efficient. Like removing a splinter that had gone septic. No ceremony, just extraction. When I told her I filed, she cried. Said she felt like her heart was being ripped out. Said I was giving up on something worth saving. I told her, "You can't save a house you set on fire and watched burn while drinking wine on the porch." She begged. Actually begged. Said she'd change, said she'd do anything. I told her the thing I'd learned the hard way, the only thing worse than betrayal is staying with someone who thinks betrayal's just a bump in the road. She didn't have a response to that. Just silence. Maybe the first honest silence we'd shared since this whole thing started. Later that night, back at the hotel, I looked out over the parking lot like it was a damn battlefield I'd just walked off of. Duke snored on the bed next to me, unbothered as always. And I felt something I hadn't in weeks. Peace. Not the fairy tale kind. The hard one, scars still fresh kind. Funny thing about peace, it's never loud. It sneaks in slowly, like the quiet after a storm when you realize the wind has finally stopped trying to tear the roof off your life. In the days that followed, she stopped texting. Stopped calling. I figured either she was finally respecting my space, or more likely, she realized she couldn't cry her way out of this one. Either way, the silence was a blessing. I went back to the house one last time to grab the rest of my things. She wasn't home, thank God, and I was able to move freely, no tension, no small talk, no awkward glances. Just me, Duke, and the ghosts of what used to be. I walked past the kitchen where we used to make pancakes on Sundays. Past the couch where we watched every episode of The Office at least 3 times. Past the framed wedding photo she still had on the hallway shelf, her smiling like she had everything in the world, me smiling like I had no idea what was coming. That part hurt more than I expected. Not because I missed her, but because I missed the version of me who still believed in that photo. I boxed up a few keepsakes. Stuff that still meant something, my dad's old watch, the book she gave me on our first anniversary, ironically, The Art of Trust, and a birthday card from years ago where she wrote, "I'll never stop choosing you." Turns out, never had an expiration date. Before I left, I did something that felt stupid and necessary. I stood in the living room and said goodbye. Not to her, to the version of us that once made sense. Then I turned off the lights, locked the door behind me, and drove away without looking back. The thing no one tells you about starting over in your mid-30s after a betrayal is how weirdly liberating it can be once the grief fog starts to lift. It's not all sunshine and fresh air, there are still landmines, but you start to realize you've been walking around in emotional quicksand for a while. First thing I did. Found a new place. Not a bachelor pad with neon lights and bad decisions, just a quiet apartment with decent light, hardwood floors, and enough room for Duke to do his weird nighttime zoom eyes. Then I got back into shape, not revenge body style, just fixing the parts I'd neglected. Running. Lifting. Cooking meals that didn't come in a microwave sleeve. I even started sleeping better, which was the biggest surprise. Turns out you can't rest next to someone who's busy building a second life behind your back. Therapy. Yup. Signed up and stuck with it. Not because I felt broken, but because I wanted to stay unbroken. Wanted to understand how I'd missed the signs, how I'd allowed myself to become the guy who ignored his gut to keep the peace. And the people in my life showed up in ways I didn't expect. Kyle brought over beer and silence, which honestly was better than any long speech. My sister offered me her guest room before I even asked. Even my boss pulled me aside one day and said, "I don't know what's going on, but you're showing up for yourself in a way most people never do." That one hit hard. Because that's exactly what I was doing. I wasn't trying to win her back. I wasn't trying to make her regret it. I was just trying to rebuild something solid from the mess she left behind, starting with me. Eventually, the paperwork came through. Divorce finalized. No dramatic courtroom showdown, no custody battles, just a quiet, stamped envelope confirming what I already knew in my bones: it was over. She texted once more after that. Just as simple. "I hope you're okay." I didn't respond. Not out of spite, just because that chapter was done. No point reopening a wound that had already scabbed over. I had choices now. Real ones. And not just about women or dating or whatever cliché, single life, fantasies people throw around. I had choices about me. About the kind of man I wanted to be, the kind of life I wanted to live, and who I let into that life moving forward. No more guessing games. No more being the nice guy who bends until he snaps. I'd been the safe place for someone who didn't value safety. I wouldn't make that mistake twice. I chose growth. Chose peace. Chose to be the man who walked through hell and came out not burned, but forged. And one night, sitting on the balcony of my new place, Duke curled up at my feet, I realized something: I didn't just survive this, I leveled up. Not in the ego-driven, "I'll show her what she lost," kind of way. No, this was deeper. I knew myself now in a way I hadn't before. Knew what I would accept, what I wouldn't, and what I deserved. And I wasn't settling for anything less than that ever again. If you've stuck with me this far, first off, thanks. Writing this all out wasn't just therapy. It was an autopsy. Of a marriage. Of trust. Of who I used to be. Here's what I learned. Trust is a gift, not a guarantee. I gave it freely. She saw it as something she could pocket without accountability. That's on her. But the lesson's mine now: trust, but keep your eyes open. Love doesn't excuse betrayal. You can love someone with your whole damn soul and still need to walk away. And that's not weakness, that's self-respect. Being nice isn't a virtue if it costs you your peace. I tried to be the rock, the calm one, the understanding husband. But sometimes, being calm while someone's drowning you just makes you a quiet corpse. People show you who they are when they think you'll never leave. Pay attention to how someone treats you when they feel safe to stop pretending. That's the real version of them. And most importantly, you can't heal in the same place you were broken. That house. That relationship. That woman. They weren't my future, they were just the end of a chapter I'd been too afraid to finish. But I finished it. With clarity, with dignity, and, eventually, with peace. So to anyone out there feeling like they're drowning in someone else's mess, let me say this: you don't have to set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Step out of the wreckage. Rebuild. You might just find out the best version of you was waiting on the other side of goodbye. Thanks for reading. Duke says hi. And yes, he still sleeps at the foot of my bed, guarding the peace we both earned.